The M7 Wildcard stage didn't just kick off, it exploded expectations. Underdogs battled in do-or-die best-of-5 thrillers, regional powerhouses were pushed to the brink, and two hungry squads etched their names in Mobile Legends history by punching their tickets to the Swiss stage. If you thought the journey to the main event would be predictable, think again. These teams didn't just survive, they earned their place on the global stage. Welcome back to Mobile Legends News. The M7 World Championship Wildcard stage is the ultimate gateway to Mobile Legends Premier Global Tournament, where 8 aspiring teams clash for the final 2 spots in the Swiss stage. This stage isn't just a warm-up, it's where legends are born, tension peaks, and dreams either take flight or collapse. With only 2 slots up for the grabs, every match carried massive stakes, proving that even the underdogs can shake up the whole M7 bracket. The M7 Wildcard stage proved very quickly that this wasn't just a preliminary round. It was a pressure cooker designed to expose which teams were truly ready for the world stage. 8 teams entered with the same goal, but only 2 would survive and advance to the Swiss stage. Over 4 intense days of competition, the wildcard delivered some of the closest series of the entire tournament so far, showing that the gap between established regions and emerging ones continued to shrink. The format itself played a major role in shaping the results. Teams were divided into 2 groups of 4 and played a single round-robin best-of-3 format. Only the top 2 teams from each group advanced to the decider stage, where crossover best-of-5 matches would determine who moved on to the Swiss stage. This structure rewarded consistency early on, but demanded clutch performance when it mattered most. And not every strong group stage team could handle that final test. In Group A, Team Zone immediately stood out. They dominated the group with a clean 3-0 record, displaying disciplined macro play and strong objective control across all of their series matches. Boostgate Esports followed closely behind at 2-1, securing the second seed. Leon Esports and Zeta Division, despite moments of promise, were unable to keep pace and were eliminated in the group stage. Group A already hinted at a theme that would define the wildcard. Teams with strong coordination and calm decision-making consistently outperformed squads that relied purely on mechanical skill or early aggression. Group B told a slightly different story but ended with similar tension. Virtus.pro stormed through the group undefeated, finishing 3-0 and looking every bit like a team destined for the Swiss stage. Guangzhou Gaming followed at 2-1 while the remaining teams failed to break into the top 2. On paper, Virtus.pro and Guangzhou Gaming looked like clear favorites going into the decider stage, especially considering Virtus.pro's flawless group performance. But the wildcard stage had one more twist left. The decider stage was when everything changed. Team Zone faced Guangzhou Gaming in the best-of-5 series that pushed both teams to their limits. Guangzhou came with strong early game confidence and sharp mechanical execution, but Team Zone adapted as the series progressed. They adjusted their drafts, slowed the pace of the game, and leaned into disciplined rotations and objective trading. In the end, Team Zone edged out a narrow 3-2 victory, earning their place in the Swiss stage and proving that their group stage dominance was no fluke. On the other side of the bracket, Boostgate Esports went up against Virtus.pro. This was arguably the biggest upset in the wildcard. Virtus.pro entered the series as heavy favorites after going undefeated in their group, but Boostgate refused to play intimidated. The series went the distance, and as the pressure increased, Boostgate's composure became their greatest weapon. In the final games, they punished overextensions, secured key mid-game objectives, and closed out the series with a shocking 3-2 win. With that victory, Boostgate joined Team Zone as the 2 teams that survived the wildcard and advanced to the Swiss stage. What made these results so impactful wasn't just who qualified, but what it said about regional performance overall. Both advancing teams came from regions that traditionally receive less global attention in MLBB esports. Boostgate's run was a massive statement for Turkey, a region often underestimated on the international stage. Their success was built on tight rotations, decisive mid-game calls, and the ability to stay calm in high-pressure moments. Rather than just relying on flashy plays, they focused on consistency and punished mistakes efficiently. Team Zone's qualification carried similar weight for Mongolia. Their undefeated group stage and clutch decider performance showcased a team with strong fundamentals and a surprisingly mature understanding of macro play. Their ability to adjust mid-series, especially against Guangzhou Gaming, highlighted excellent communication and strategic flexibility. For a team without the same infrastructure or league exposure as MPL powerhouses, Team Zone demonstrated that preparation and cohesion can bridge that gap. On the flip side, the teams that fell short offered important lessons. Virtus.pro's elimination was particularly telling. Despite looking dominant in the group stage, they struggled to adapt once the decider series began slipping away. Small missteps in draft priorities and late-game positioning added up, reinforcing the idea that best-of-5 series are as much about mental resilience as mechanical execution. Guangzhou Gaming faced a similar issue. While their early game setups were strong, their inability to maintain tempo control in the later stages of the series against Team Zone ultimately cost them a Swiss stage spot. From a strategic standpoint, the wildcard stage revealed several emerging trends. Draft flexibility became increasingly important, with teams favoring compositions that allowed role swaps and multiple win conditions rather than just locking into a single rigid strategy. This flexibility gave teams room to adapt mid-series, especially when opponents began targeting comfort picks. Another clear pattern was the emphasis on mid-game objective control. Turtle fights, Lord setups, and vision around key areas consistently determined momentum. Teams that secured these objectives weren't just gaining gold. They were controlling the pace of the game and forcing opponents into uncomfortable decisions. But perhaps most importantly, the wildcard highlighted the value of composure and communication. The teams that advanced weren't necessarily the most aggressive or mechanically dominant, but they were the ones that played disciplined under pressure. They minimized unforced errors, coordinated rotations cleanly, and made decision calls when the game was on the line. In a format where one bad mistake ends your series tournament run, that mental strength became the ultimate difference maker. And by the time the dust settled, the M7 Wildcard stage had done more than just fill 2 Swiss stage slots. It reshaped how fans and analysts view emerging regions, reinforced the importance of adaptability in the current meta, and sent a clear message to the rest of the tournament. Names and reputations matter far less than preparation, composure, and execution. As Boostgate Esports and Team Zone move forward, they don't just represent their regions. They represent a new era of competitive parity in Mobile Legends. But for me, the biggest takeaway from the M7 Wildcard stage is clear. The global power balance in Mobile Legends is no longer as rigid as it once was. For years, the narrative heading into M-Series events has been dominated by expectations. Certain regions were assumed to be stronger, more refined, and simply built for international success. The wildcard stage shattered that assumption in real time. Teams from less spotlighted regions didn't just participate. They proved that they stand toe-to-toe with established powerhouses when the pressure is highest. Boostgate Esports and Team Zone didn't advance because of lucky drafts or one-off performances. They earned their Swiss stage spots by surviving multiple formats, adapting mid-series, and winning best-of-5 matches against teams that many analysts had already penciled in as qualifiers. That alone changes the narrative heading into the main event. These teams demonstrated that preparation, discipline, and mental resilience can now rival and sometimes overcome years of top-tier league experience. Perhaps more importantly, the wildcard exposed a vulnerability in traditionally favored teams. Strong group stage records meant nothing if teams couldn't adjust under pressure. Virtus.pro and Guangzhou Gaming both showed flashes of dominance, but when faced with adaptable opponents who refused to panic, their margin for error vanished. This signals a shift in competitive MLBB. Raw strength and reputation are no longer enough. Teams must be flexible, composed, and strategically sharp across long series. And as we move into the Swiss stage, this wildcard result forces fans and teams alike to rethink predictions. The main event is no longer a playground reserved for familiar giants. Instead, it's shaping up to be a battlefield where any team that understands the meta, controls objectives, and plays fearlessly can disrupt the hierarchy. The wildcard didn't just qualify teams, it rewrote expectations for M7. The M7 Wildcard stage proved to be one of the most important phases of the tournament, producing two deserving qualifiers in Boostgate Esports and Team Zone while exposing how thin the margin is at that global level. Beyond the results, it highlighted evolving draft priorities, the importance of mid-game control, and the growing strength of emerging regions. More than ever, the wildcard showed that M7 is about balance, adaptability, and execution, not just reputation. Now, I want to hear from you. Which wildcard team impressed you the most, and do you think they can cause upsets in the Swiss stage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our upcoming M7 main stage analysis, predictions, and meta breakdowns right here on Mobile Legends News. Till next time!